Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, oh boy, the Romantic Piano Concerto, Volume 4. Oh, this is so much fun because you've got a coupling, a very nice coupling, 3 works actually. One of the lovely things about this series is that you don't just get big, long concertos, you also get some of those wonderful shorter pieces that will never get played because, well, they're wonderful shorter pieces. Here we've got Russian stuff. The Arensky Piano Concerto in F minor, Opus 2, and his Fantasia on Russian Folksongs, Opus 48, and Sergei Bortkiewicz, his Piano Concerto number 1 in B-flat minor, Opus 16. Apparently, there are a couple other piano concertos. Bortkiewicz is a composer who is worth discovering. You may recall that Martin Brabants recorded the first 2 symphonies, or 2 of however many there were, for Hyperion, and they're fun. They're really fun, and so is the piano concerto. The piano concerto it's big, first of all. Well, it's 35 minutes and a bit. It is totally, wholly, completely, utterly derivative. It doesn't have an original note or thought. It is Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, Glazunov, more Rachmaninoffs, Glier, choose your derivation. It's all packed in there. Wonderfully familiar, but it has some good tunes. It does have original ideas. It has no original concept. Original aesthetic. Let's put it that way. But there are some really beautiful tunes. The orchestration is rich and highly colored. The piano writing has plenty of bravura. It begins with a brooding, slow movement and then takes off. And really, the quick music doesn't bog down. It really doesn't, which is to Bortkiewicz's credit, because, God knows what's going to happen in half of these pieces. Anyway, so he lived from 1877 to 1952. After the revolution in 1922, he moved to Vienna, where he spent the rest of his life, and from whence he could be completely and totally ignored, because nothing could be further away from what was going on in Vienna than what he was writing. And he hated the Second Viennese School and all that stuff. So he's never going to get a break. In a way, he was not a major composer. He wasn't an original composer, although he did come up with some, like I said, with some good ideas, some nice tunes. But he was meticulous in his craftsmanship, and he knew exactly what he wanted to say and how he wanted to say it. And Stephen Coombs, along with Jerzy Maksymiuk here, do a terrific job in blasting their way through this music. There was an earlier recording before this one. There's been a couple subsequently, actually. But Marjorie Mitchell did a cut version of it. This is the whole thing, and it's absolutely spectacular. It's totally worth hearing for that alone. Now, Arensky is another matter. Arensky had a brief life. He lived from 1861 to 1906. So he lived to be 45. His piano concerto was a student work. It's another piece that's wholly derivative, and not in as good a way as Bortkiewicz, because Bortkiewicz has better material. The Arensky, it's Liszt, Tchaikovsky sort of school. It has some flashy things in it. None of these pieces are bad in the sense that they're not enjoyable, at least once. But Arensky was a second-tier composer by anybody's definition, although he wrote some lovely works. He really did. The finale of his concerto was in 5/4, which is kind of fun, and Tchaikovsky apparently criticized him for it. Then he went and wrote his own thing in 5/4 in the second movement of the Pathetique Symphony. But it's 5/4, but a 4-square 5/4. The whole point of writing something in 5/4 is so that you have an interesting rhythm, that trips you up a little bit. And Arensky never trips you up. It's just in 5/4. But the fantasy on Russian folk songs, which is only 8 minutes and 55 seconds long, that's more fun because, of course, the tunes are better, and it's short and peppy, and he can monkey around with them and then stop with plenty of bravura and a flourish, and everyone goes home happy. So the Arensky's not a great work. It really isn't. But the Bortkiewicz is, well, I don't know if it's a great work, but it's it's a good time. It's an awful lot of fun. It really is. Even the notes that, Hyperion provided for this calls it a fun concerto. And it is. It is. You won't find, it plumbing the depths of sublimity or profundity or anything like that, but you'll have a great time listening to it. It's just wonderfully enjoyable music. And that's, for me, that's more than sufficient. So, as I said, Stephen Coombs plays all three works actually beautifully. The BBC Scottish Symphony under Maksymiuk goes for it 100%. Hyperion sonics are terrific. You can't go wrong. You really can't. So keep on listening. And if you like the Bortkiewicz Concerto, listen to the two symphonies. You'll really like those too. So thanks for joining me and take care.